All right, guys, let me level with you. And you know Uncle Chael only tells the truth. I enjoy some trash talk, but I got no dirt on Brunt. My personal favorites are the Marin and the Omen. And guys, these things are comfortable right out of the box. I'm talking zero break-in, none. And if you got a hardworking guy in your life, a construction guy, a mechanic, a rancher, a weekend warrior, or just a tough dude who likes standing tall, Brunt boots and their whole lineup of killer workwear make perfect gifts. Durable, dependable, and they're actually comfortable. Plus, they're dropping limited edition styles all month long. I'm telling you right now, these are gonna sell out. I don't want you saying I didn't warn you. Built to perform, built to last, and guess what? If they're not right for you, Brunt will stand behind it. You can send them back, no risk. With temperatures dropping and the holidays coming up, treat yourself or the hardworking man in your life to real comfort. You can skip the junk gifts. Get Brunt workwear. Our listeners get $10 off their entire order. Just use the code CHAEL at checkout. I want you to go to bruntworkwear.com. Use code CHAEL. Order today, and when they ask, let them know you heard about it right here on the show. Arman Tsarukyan, is he snubbed for a title shot? Because it certainly felt that way, but that conversation is still out there, and now an article has even come out. And I was wondering the timeliness of the article. It was Dana. And Dana said, hey, listen, there's stuff we don't talk about. There's man stuff, things behind the scenes. We don't bring that in front of the cameras, but Arman knows what it is. And it stopped him from getting his title shot. Okay. Well, I feel like I knew all of that. I didn't feel like any of that was new. Let me just take you guys back. Forest fires, they hit the Palisades. That same week, we fly in, come in through the fires and the smoke, try to provide some positivity to the area, and it was Tsarukyan versus Islam for your main event. Money Moicano was on that card. He was going to take on Darush. Little Nurmagomedov was the favorite in a championship fight, going to try to take the crown off Merab. Setting this up, time frames for you guys. Get a call, and it's about 3 a.m. that the main event isn't going to happen. Arman Tsarukyan is out. He's not even going to get to the scale. So don't ask us about a catch weight. He's not coming to weigh in at all. Something has happened. And we never got total clarity on what that was. But as business moved forward, it moved forward without Arman in world title shots. Now, Arman got in pretty good position. He got put as backup fighter. And backup fighter's pretty good. It means if anybody is 1/10 or more overweight at the time of the scale, backup goes in, so be it that he can make scratch. We don't use a backup fighter very often, but getting put in that position does put you one heartbeat away and only a couple of inches away from being in the ring for a title fight. So it's a coveted spot, in my opinion. Not to mention history says if you're a backup fighter, your next fight is for the title, but it's not what happened with Arman. So Arman wanted to stay busy. In fact, he went and found himself a grappling match. Found himself some success in grappling, and all the while signed to fight Dan Hooker. Now that fight looked so compelling at the time that the UFC came out openly and said, that's a number one contenders match. Whoever wins there will be fighting for the belt. Well, what the UFC didn't know is we're not going to have an undisputed title fight for a period of time. In fact, we are going to have a interim championship for this time and in between time, which created a different level of opportunity. Tsarukyan won. Tsarukyan had beaten Dan Hooker. If Tsarukyan's next fight is for a title, then that promise was upheld. So it's not really a matter of who fights next involving Tsarukyan. It's a matter of if the next time Tsarukyan fights, was he at a minimum offered the opportunity to fight for a belt? We're not there yet. We're not there yet because when I'm hearing the word snub, it just hasn't happened yet. There's things that have to happen for him to get snubbed, and we could be headed in that direction. Now, Tsarukyan himself has a pretty good feel for where things are going to go. Tsarukyan's got a pretty good feel for how quick of a turnaround is Justin and or Patty going to need before I can get in there in that opportunity. Oh, and by the way, If Ilya comes back, do I get to step in right with Ilya, or are they going to unify the interim championship and the undisputed championship? And you see where there's a lot of questions. And whenever there's a lot of questions, I think that it's very wise that you do what Ilya did, or I apologize, what Tsarukyan did, which is to control what you can control, which is very little. But he likes to compete. He knows he handles himself better when he's in a training camp, when he has a specific goal in mind. He keeps his diet and his weight down when he's got a weigh-in of some fashion to get to. All of these things can be achieved through grappling. So Tsarukyan has now signed up for a grappling match. Okay, great. Tsarukyan wants to stay busy. Tsarukyan has a history of doing grappling matches. Some of the fancy matches for Tsarukyan, whether that's against Ilya or that's against Islam. Those guys, right? Tsarukyan sharpening up a tool to the point of competitiveness to be able to grapple with those two guys sounds very wise. That sounds like good forward thinking. But when the article says that there's still like this purgatory and that Tsarukyan is being punished, I'm curious as to where. I'm just curious. I don't think it was ever realistic for the winner of Hooker or Tsarukyan to be turned around by January. Whether it was going to be against Ilya, or now for what we find out is an interim championship in spite of Ilya. I don't know that the winner of the bludgeoning that Hooker and Tsarukyan were getting ready to do to each other was going to be penciled on anybody's bingo card for happening by January. And therefore, if an opportunity to fight and cash in that golden ticket of number one contendership, if that never presented itself, then by definition, you wouldn't be in a position to give Tsarukyan a snub. So I'm open to the idea that there is no snub. I'm open to the idea that the past is the past. But that's not been made totally clear. Is the past the past? Have we put this behind us? Is walking out there with Hooker, is going and getting licensed and being a backup fighter, is taking not one but two grappling matches just to stay busy, just to show your sincerity and your care and desire for the sport. Is that enough? If I'm the jury, the answer to that question is yes. It's enough. Tsarukyan's out of purgatory. Tsarukyan should be considered for world title fights.